Pin Cushion Postcards, also known as penny pokes. They're called penny pokes. P-O-K-E-S. I'll put it right down here at the bottom. That's another nickname, I guess, for these cards. I never knew that. So Pin Cushion Postcards, also known as penny poke. Welcome to SMPostcards. Down here is an agenda. I put it up on every video in the beginning so you can look through the videos and you can see what I'm going to talk about. First thing I'm going to talk about is what sold. Sold 13 cards. I'm going to go through those real quick. All different ones. That way you can kind of see what's selling on my side. Doesn't mean it's selling on your side, but I just walked through it real quick and I pulled all the cards and I'll tell you how much I sold them for. Got a couple good ones in there. And then for the special topic, I do one every video. Certain topic. This is one I don't know a lot about. Found some history, found some stuff I didn't know, and would these fit in eBay standard envelopes? I haven't sold many of these. I do have a couple in my novelty collection, but that's about it. Pin Cushion Postcards. Those are postcards made like a pin cushion, and there is a history about that I'll get into. Then we'll get into the sell-through rate, the pricing, and what I think of them. And then every Saturday I put a poll out to the community on the channel. It's a good place to learn, to test yourself sometimes, to let people think and see what other people say instead of just me and others. It's the whole community. We usually get a pretty good participation between 60 and 90 people, 100 people, so it's a good sampling of the channel. This one is, what kind of postcards do you sell most of? I get that question all the time. I'll dig into that and what I think, and I took all the comments from that poll and we'll go through them real quick because everybody, RPPCs come. You'll get to see the mixture. They all sell. It's there, but there's some might sell a little bit more. Depends what you list, but we'll get into that poll. And then at the end of every video, I go and grab some comments from YouTube and email and stuff, and we talk about that and I give you my opinion. A little bit more ad-libbed as it goes, but it's a good place to learn. If you have questions, always send them to me an email at contact@SMPostcards.com. A little more private. I usually get back to people within 24 hours, probably mostly almost right away because I can see them on my phone. But one of the things I do on the phone is I'll see a message and I'll go to my computer and reply, because I think it's important as the channel grows and you guys are part of the community that I respond. Not that I have all the answers, but you might be looking for something that I might know of or point you to the direction, or someone else can. So always leave your comments. If I haven't got back to you, leave a message, leave it again. I don't have any rules in my I have a special mail system that all this goes into and checks for security and stuff like that. So it's totally separate to my personal, and everything that goes in there, I clean it out as often as possible. One of my highest priorities is to get back to you. But one of the things, question I got the other day is, can I sell postcards full time? Before I get into what's sold, this is on the top of my mind because I answer this about the same way all the time. No, I don't recommend it. But that's me. There's a lot of people out there that do stuff like this full time. And remember, I'm retired, I have a pension, my income is not this. So it's different. I don't need to do $100,000 a year in postcards to eat and sleep and live. So it's a little different. I'm part-time. I probably work 20 to 30 hours a week. Depends on what week it is, what time of year. Like in the summer, I don't do as much. In the winter, I don't go places. But I get that question, and my recommendation to people, it's a good supplement. Reselling is a good side gig. If I was working at Arby's, putting meat on a bun for $14 an hour, making $100, $200 a week, and reselling, that would be, I could bring in $400 or $500 a week or whatever if I really pushed it. Could I do it? Probably. Would it be a grind? Yes, it would be something in there, but there's a lot of successful people out there, so I'm a part-timer, but I enjoy it. I have enough cards. It's not stressful. It's something to do, and I'm learning every day as I do this. But that's one of the things on the top of my mind. That's kind of like what's in viewer comments. So if anybody's full-time out there with this stuff, put it in the comments and how you're doing. You don't have to give us details and stuff. Is it something you're going to do the rest of your life, or is it a supplement? I'm going to do a poll coming up this year to ask that question. Is this supplemental or your full-time job? Some people have lost their job and this is what they fell into, or some people just aren't able to work and this allows them to bring other income in. There's so many different ways to do this, but if you're banking full-time on postcards, I would love to hear from you, and I'm sure everybody else, is this something I can do on there? So what sold? I sold 13 cards. We'll go through these real quick. Now the first one is Great White Fleet. If you haven't watched that video, I'm educating myself more and more on that, and one of my goals this year, I haven't done it yet, I've got other things going on, is go through all my naval ships, since I got an extensive collection to sell of those. As you see all the time, I sell Navy ships, is to identify all the Great White ships. I haven't done it yet, I've done some, but this is, I think this is a series of some of those. This was done on lighter cardstock by the club that I bought these from, and it has the information. This is the USS California BB-17, and it kind of looks like there's an original set of this. This is a reprint type thing from the club on there, but I had a gentleman want to buy the whole set, and I told him, I always disclosed that these were printed by that club. And then this is USS California BB-16, and if you notice, the ship is white right there. So I'm pretty sure these are Great White Fleet. Both of these cards sold for $9.50. I don't sell many of this set, but I've had comments about it. Next one is another naval card. This is the White Squadron from the Great White Fleet, the USS Miami battleship. I don't remember that one on my list. In the Ko-Fi store, I have a list of all of them, and then this is Texas. So I would have to see if Miami's on there, but I don't remember. But that's what it is. This is just a reprint, and I did message the person whenever I have stuff like this. You know, this is a print. This is of the original postcard. This is not the original, and he was fine with that. He knew it was a copy, and I sent it, but I offered to cancel. But that's one of those ones I don't like to sell, but for the price I sell it for, it's pretty good, for $4.75. Next one is a golf club. This is Pelican Golf Club and Country Club, Bel Air, Florida. This only counted out to about $4.75. It's one of the holes. There's the green. This was posted in 1954. It's got rounded corners on there. That doesn't really give any more money, as I find, on there. But that's a golf course, $4.75. I might have could have bumped it up a little bit, because I got a video about golf, and I think I missed on that one. I think I could have got a couple extra dollars if I waited a little bit, but $4.75 is good. I didn't pay it much for it. Next one is USS Wynot, aka 92. This is a publisher card. That's the name right there, if I'm saying it wrong. But it's a card that they purchased. I got like 100, 200 of these left in the box. But this is the first time I remember selling one of those. $4.75. Last video, if you watched, I sold the Monsoon team, baseball team, whatever. I sold another one that I had for $27.65. This is out there by Palmer or Brimfield, Massachusetts. When we went out to the big flea market out there, I purchased an album that had these. I think that's what the album. But this one sold for $27.65, and that won't go eBay standard envelope. That'll go in my special box and send it out that way. Now the gentleman bought another one, so I'll probably, and I still have them since yesterday was a no mail day, I'll probably just put it in his box if I can, if it's the same guy. I think it is. But the address is Monsoon, so the town is what sold that more than the baseball club. I think it's the town. He searched for Monsoon, Massachusetts. I think Monsoon, M-O-S-O-N, I think it is. I think that's what sold that card. So for $27.65. Next one is a ship photo. I also have photos of ships. This is the Boxer CB21, around 1945 it says. And this sold for $7.70. All the information was on the back. Somebody put that on there when they took these photos, and I sell the heck out of these little things. I tried auctions, I tried different things, and I landed on $7.75, $7.70, and free shipping, and they go pretty good. Now I mail those with a stamp and a label, because that photograph I wasn't able, sometimes it comes up not an eBay standard envelope, but I've never had a problem with it. So I had about 500 more, I forgot how many I had, and when I was going through my boxes I found another stack, and these things are so easy to list and they slide through the scanner so well that I listed those right away, and I do sell them. They do pretty good. I got pennies into them. But $7.70 for that. Next one is Pelicans and Crane at the Como Zoo, St. Paul, Minnesota. Chrome card, not a white border, this is a chrome card. You can kind of see how it's a chrome card. But a pelican and a crane, $4.75. Then these romance cards. I've been on a kick lately selling these things. I was afraid to come home in the dark. 6 a.m. He's trying to tell his wife or whatever why he wasn't home. He was afraid to come in the dark, a man. I call these romance cards or divided back cards. I don't sell a lot of them, but lately I've been selling a few more. It's $4.75. USS Henderson. This is one of those prints on a lighter cardstock by the club. They just put a postcard back, the name, and they took a photo. I have all the negatives and the original database of all these cards that they created from their photo, their library of those. So I own all the rights to this and stuff, but I'm sure this picture is out there other places. But that's the Henderson, $4.75. Next one is one of those special cards that I bought at an auction. There was a whole set of them, and I did a video about how I put this together for one picture. Let me see if I can get this out of here. But this is the Howell Motel in Spring Green, Wisconsin. Now that's the postcard. It's a chrome card. Just a chrome card. But the guy collected the matchbook cover. It doesn't have any matches in it, which is great. So I got two of these together. And how do you put that in a photo? And I did a video about that. There's many different ways to do it. I just did it my way with the tools I had and stuff. People said flatbed scanners and stuff. I just showed you one way to do it and what I was thinking and how I think, because people wanted to know how I think sometimes. But that's sold for $7.75. Next is another Navy ship, USS Safeguard. I don't know if this is a Coast Guard, probably not. ARS 50 on that lighter cardstock, that print, and they put the name on the back. But it's a color print of that Safeguard. $4.75. And the last card is Alton Bay, Lake Winnipesaukee, New Hampshire. Chrome card, has Alton Bay right up there. A nice look on there. And that sold for $4.75. So I sold 13 cards. I want to do 16 cards a day, and I'm down 3. But the dollars I had with this, with that other baseball team and a couple other ones, they total $94.78. And if you break $94.78 divided by 13, the average sale price for this day was $7.29. So it went up because of that other higher price card. So I made $94.78. I want to do $80 a day. I made $15 more. So a little bit of padding there. So not a bad day. I'm pretty happy with that. But the sales are up and down, very inconsistent with reselling. And lately there's a lot of stuff, a lot of variables out in the world. Anywhere from eBay to the economy, election year. You just can't control a lot of stuff, so you just got to control what you can. Just watch your expenses, is what I tell people. List the best stuff you got, do a little bit of homework on it, get the quantity up there, and just watch your expenses. Keep your liquid cash. I wouldn't go out and buy a lot of stuff this year. I would try to keep some reserve for those bad days. It might get better. It's okay for me, but people that really rely on this, it could be a struggle. So you just got to be careful with it. Don't use your liquid cash. It's the most important thing to manage in your business. That's what's sold. Special topic. Interesting postcard. More about to it than I thought. As I get in here, I got a couple short paragraphs on some history on it that I found, and I got like 3 facts about Pin Cushion Postcards. There's more to it. I couldn't believe it. I actually thought this was going to be a very short special topic or not enough to really do it, but as I dug into it, I found more stuff. So let's go ahead and get going here. And while I do that, I'm going to show you some pictures of Pin Cushion Postcards so you kind of see what's out there. Here we go. Pin Cushion Postcards, also known as penny pokes. They're called penny pokes. P-O-K-E-S. I'll put it right down here at the bottom. That's another nickname, I guess, for these cards. I never knew that. So Pin Cushion Postcards, also known as penny pokes, emerged in the late 19th century as a creative fusion in practicality and sentimentality. Way too many words I can say. Originating in the United Kingdom, these charming novelties combine the functionality of sewing accessory with the appeal of a greeting card. The early examples feature a small pocket or pouch affixed to the postcard intended to hold pins and needles. making them a useful addition to any seamstress toolkit. By the turn of the 20th century, pin cushion postcards had gained popularity across Europe and North America. Manufacturers capitalized on their appeal by producing a wide array of designs, ranging from delicate floral motifs to whimsical scenes and romantic imagery. These postcards became a popular choice for sending messages of love, friendship, and well wishes, often adorned with elaborate embroidery, ribbons, and embellishments to enhance their visual appeal. Although their popularity waned with the advent of modern sewing conveniences, pin cushion postcards remain cherished collectibles and artifacts of a bygone era. Today, they serve as tangible reminders of the craftsmanship and ingenuity of past generations, offering a glimpse into the time when even the simplest objects were done with beauty and utility. So that's a little history, more than I thought, about pin cushion postcards. But now I got 3 facts here I found about them. Secret messages. Pin cushion postcards were occasionally used to convert means of communication during times of political unrest and social taboo. Hidden compartments within the postcards allowed individuals to discreetly exchange small notes or even smuggle tiny objects across borders, evading detection by authorities. So if you get a pin cushion postcard, just like you do with clothes, look in the pockets. There might be something there. Never found one myself, but I thought it was interesting. The second fact was superstitions and charms. In some cultures, pin cushion postcards were believed to possess magical properties or offer protection against evil spirits. Seamstresses would often keep them close while working on important projects, believing that the combination of pins and heartfelt messages would bring good luck and ward off misfortune. And the last fact, number 3, Victorian flirtation. Try to say that 3 times right. Victorian flirtation. During the Victorian era, pin cushions postcards took on a flirtatious connotation, with suitors using them as subtle ways to express romantic interest. Pins strategically placed on postcards could convey different meanings depending on their arrangement, allowing individuals to engage in playful form of courtship without overly declaring their intentions. So Victorian flirtation with pin cushion postcards. Who would know? So that was a little bit of history, a little bit more than I thought I would find about these things. And you saw a lot of pictures of pin cushion postcards. Now we're going to get into the sell-through rate of it. Do these things sell? We're going to look at sell-through rate, then we're going to look at pricing. Just to give you an idea if you see these in the boxes. And these should be pretty easy to pick out because they're going to be a little fatter, a little thicker with that cushion on there. And you should be able to see those. And the question always is, should I pick it up and what do they sell for? So the first thing, what should I pick it up, is sell-through rate to me. That's what it triggers in my head. This little chart here I use, it's just a way I think. It's nothing scientific special. But if I find a card and I'm doing sell-through rate and it's in the red, 0 to 3%, I try not to pick it up. Sometimes I do. They look cool. I thought they'd be great. I bring it home and it doesn't have a good sell-through rate. Doesn't mean it won't sell. It just won't sell as fast as others. Then between 4 and 10% is where I work. Divided back to Chrome, as you're going to see in the poll, what people sell the most of. And I found that divided back to Chrome is what I like to do. They're easy to do. Not a lot of researching and stuff like that. Time spent. I will do it on the other ones I find. Because while I'm looking for those average, I find the top very high ones. Just like that baseball team. I will pick those up. But I don't look for those all the time. While I'm looking for the average, I find those. I'm not looking for the pin in the haystack or the needle in the haystack to be on the same thing as pin cushion postcards. I look for the haystack, what the most in there, and then I find the pins as I go through. That's how I think of it. But if you take sold divided by listed times it by 100 to get a percent and round it up or down, you're going to get a good feel. Do they sell? So I took postcard pin cushion. There's 25 sold and only 218 out there. So maybe a lot of people don't know what these are. They're a novelty postcard is where I put them. And I times by 100, I come up with 11%. So they sell 11% is just on the right in the very high. I would say they're high is where I put it, because there's not a lot of them. So I would say they're top of the high is where they're at. 11%. Who would think? But then there's other cards out there that you'll see, and one of the good ones that you want to find, if they're original button face cards, they have buttons for the face. I did a video on button face postcards. Those sell well, or for a good price, if they're original button face family. So you want to look for those. There's only 2 sold and 10 out there. 20% sell-through rate. I wouldn't say that's wrong, because I've seen people. One of my friends bought a lot of cards and didn't know what it was. I said, you need to set that one to the side and do your homework on that one. And they did, and they made some good money on it. Not saying they're $1,000 cards, they're probably $15 to $20 cards. Some of them, but some of them can go for more. So you want to do your research on button face postcards and watch that video. Then I had Pin Cushion 11%. But then I figured there's other add-on stuff like glitter. We see that all the time. Don't want to put those through the scanner. They're not, if one sneaks through, you're probably going to get away with it. But a lot of that stuff's made like with mica, glass, so glass on glass will scratch. So you don't want to put those through the scanner or any really thick things, because you could get a scratch on your lens. They're pretty resilient, the lenses, but I haven't scratched any yet. And the way I do cards, once in a while, some things will go through. And I'm saying, oh, I dodged another bullet. So you could kill a $400 scanner and have a line all the time if you put stuff like that through. But glitter, there's 740 sold, 12,000 out there that people put in glitter. I put it in item specifics as a feature. I'll add glitter most of the time. I won't put it in the title because it's just one of those things. 6%, and then metal add-on. Those anchors, those ribbons, those flags, those pins, those buffaloes. You see, they're called metal add-on cards. Definitely don't put those through a scanner and shipping those eBay standard envelope. You're just asking for problems. I have them. I don't get them that often. But there's 3 sold, 99 out there. People really don't know the word metal add-on. They'll just say horseshoe or something. 3%. So I would probably say that's up in the 3 to 4%. Well, so I think 11% is good for this novelty postcard. Like I said, I haven't sold a lot of them. I don't remember having any in a long time, and I don't see it that often. But 11%, so it's a higher card. It will sell. I think they'll sit a little bit, but you might get a few extra dollars. Let's take a look. So pricing, I usually do like the extreme pricing and stuff, but with a novelty postcard like that, what I found better sometimes is just go through, start at the high end and just work through to show everybody the different things out there, because they're different. So I didn't do the extreme stuff. So let's walk through what I found. I got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 different examples here of, from WorthPoint that I found. The first one here is a lot of real silk Valentine postcard, and they got some pin cushions in there. So there's 15 of them, and they sold for $37.80. So about a little over $2 a piece when you lot them up. So you will find these in lots. So you could pick up a lot like this for $1, $2 a piece, and maybe sell them for a little bit more, as you'll see. The next one, this is a pin cushion. I had to look at this one a little bit and say, how is this a postcard? This is a pin cushion Stitch in Time Saves 9 postcard, sold for $29 in 2017. This is the front. And I'm sitting there, well, how did it look at the back? It's got a postcard back. It's got the fringe around it. It's a pillow. I don't know how big it is and stuff, but look at that. Would you be able to mail that today? It'd be interesting to do. It would go in a box or something. So, or a bubble mailer or something like that. But that was an interesting one. It sold for $30 in 2017. Now this is the one, this is a type I see a lot. The big butts, the cheeks, is where the pin is. The person is standing behind, and this is what it is. It's an old vintage postcard, pin cushion, woman doing something, washing. Sold for $22.49, $23 in 2019. So you'll see a lot of these. That's what I'm talking about. These are going to be thicker for eBay standard envelope because those cheeks are pretty full on that. But is there a pocket secret message in some of these? I wouldn't know where to look. I haven't ever seen one of those. And then you got postcard pin cushion teddy bear. And it's got a town or something. His belly is the pin cushion, 1950. So for $20 in 2019. And then a Valentine's metal, Cupid, and heart pillow. So it looks like it's got like a metal add-on, and the heart is a pin cushion. And it sold for $18.25, so $18 in 2019. So those three together there, 20, 20, 20, and then the other one's 30. I would say $20 to $25 probably where these will sell if they're in good condition and unique and stuff. And then I got two more to go. Pin cushion with Dresden bells, $10 in 2007. So after we just saw, maybe they might have missed on that one. And then, so I went from high and down. Now I'm down to the low stuff. And then this is a non-topographical novelty postcard. To put non-topographical in there doesn't really mean, people don't understand what it is. And eBay can't even know what it is. In Europe it's a little different than it is here. View cards and stuff. I don't worry about topographical and non-topographical eBay. It's whatever they did. When they moved that stuff back there a couple of years ago, they moved stuff into categories. It was just all over the place. And I am not going to go through and fix that. It's a postcard. People don't, maybe you're down the real hard collectors, you know, the down deep guys, the big collectors would really get into stuff like that. But for us, selling average cards and stuff, I don't think the normal person really cares if it's topographical or non-topographical, because they probably don't understand it. And sometimes there's crossover. A card could be topographical or non-topographical. It just depends how you look at the subject. A Main Street with a drugstore could be different than just looking at it as Main Street. So there's some crossover. So I wouldn't get lost in that terminology. So this one was non-topographical novelty postcard, pin cushion, $8. So as you've seen, from $40 down to $8. This is a wide range. You just got to pick and see what you want to gamble with and put out there and find some comps. But I would say I wouldn't pass them up. They got a good sell-through rate. They're above average price, most of them. So I would pick them up. Now you'd have to figure in the shipping and see if it would go eBay standard envelope. So your shipping would be a little higher, you know, Ground Advantage or whatever to do that. So these are novelty postcards to me, but Pin Cushion Postcards. Who knew? The SMPostcards Ko-Fi shop has a collection of postcard supplies to meet your reselling needs. From protective sleeves to envelopes and tantalizing postcard lots, we have everything you need to enhance your reselling experience. But that's not all. If you sign up as a member in either the white border or divided back tier, you're entitled to an incredible 40% discount on all items purchased in the shop. Whether you're a seasoned seller or just starting your postcard reselling journey, this discount is here to make your reselling experience even better. Stock up on top quality supplies. Visit the SMPostcards online Ko-Fi shop today and transform your postcard reselling to the next level. To see more, follow the link in the video description below. So now we're going to get into the poll. I go over the polls, even though I put them out and everybody can see it. I go over them because talking about it helps people learn. It helps me understand what people are doing. Is there a change in the market, a change in the force out there with postcards? Is there something different that I'm not seeing? And this keeps me fresh. You can get very stereotyped into your stuff. They only do it your way. Everybody's got to follow your way. That turns people off. I just want to show you what I do, and if you can pick something up or show me what you do and stuff, I'll change if it's something good. I have no problem with that. I am set in ways on some things I do because I got so many postcards. I'm not going to change my inventory. I'm not going to touch 100,000 cards in those boxes. It's just not going to do it. I'll make mistakes and cause more problems in the long run. It would take me days, months to do that. But there's some things that if there's a different envelope, different way of doing things, I always look for that to make it easier and cheaper. But polls go out on Saturdays between 9 and 10 Central Time. If you're subscribed, it should pop in there. And some of these will go out to non-subscribed. So hit that subscribe button, hit the little bell. Right over here, I think there's a little thing you can click on and just hit yes or whatever. It's the easiest free thing you can do to support the channel. And we appreciate it. So this poll came out on a Saturday, and I put out there, what type of postcard do you sell the most of? And I put out there chrome, linen, white border, divided back, undivided back, and other. I didn't put real photo postcards and stuff because I ran out of lines. So I just put the basics that we see that I sell. But you'll see what other people, and I left other, I always got to have an out on there. But the top one was divided back and undivided backs. And the next one, that was at 41%. And the next one was chrome, 26, linen 12, white border, and other was 17. So you got divided back and undivided back, number 1, chrome is number 2, linen, and white border. And the reason white border is because they can be elusive on their standardization and their details. Most people, a lot of people have questions about white border. Sometimes I have to touch them to see if they fall in the white border era. The postmark will tell you a little bit, the date of the card, and stuff like that. But it's probably one of the most elusive standards in there. Is white borders. Just because a linen card has a white border doesn't mean it's a white border card. There was a certain era in between the war and the linens and stuff like that. A little different. So it was amazing. Divided back and undivided back. Doesn't surprise me because between 1908 and 1912, and those are the dates I use. I see all different dates for the golden age of postcards. That's when it really took off back in 1908, 1912, and a majority of postcards out there from that era were sold and mailed during that time. So divided, undivided back stopped in 1907. 1908 was divided back. Moving forward, 1912 things fell off a little bit, and that's where most of them were. Me, I list divided back down to chrome. Ones I sell most of are chrome because that's what I key in on. So if you list most real photo postcards, you're probably going to have that as your top. If you list mostly divided back and undivided back, you're going to have that. So it's kind of deceptive on the poll number sometimes, but if you get enough people, like we almost had 100 people on this one, I think this is correct. I think we're okay here as what most people sell. It's really what you list and what you have in your store. But me, it's mostly chrome, divided back and chrome. The other ones, linens I do sell, so divided back to chrome and current, some continentals, not many, they'll sell. So that gives you a good idea of what to list out there. And if you notice, they all sell. But I got a bunch of little comments here, real fast ones, and I took every comment that came in on the poll as I could find. And one of them, I get this from Three-Wheeler all the time. So I did something to help you with postcard or post-space card. How do you name it? And we'll talk about that in a second. First comment came from Flippin' in Ohio. Remember, this is what type of postcard do you sell most of? Flippin' in Ohio says real photo postcards. Fossil Forward Finds. Dr. Chris. Continentals. He does basically Continentals. The Rebel Depot. Real photos sell much better for me than anything else. Thanks everyone so far and going forward. Alex Butler says, I sell every size quite regularly. Oversized Continental, standard, best sellers are chrome with RP, real photo postcards close behind. Three-Wheeler says, sell mostly paper postcards. Yeah, they're paper, they're cardboard. But then also, he always puts in their postcard space cards, and we'll get into that in a second on what I've found about that before, and people ask me about how to spell it and stuff. And then JI2660, real photo postcards. Postcard Shack, Gary, all kinds. Gutted 08, 80s and 90s girls in bikinis and a Hawaiian topless. There is a market for that. I don't sell those. I send them off to my friend. He sells them. But there's all those Asian ones, or just risque ones, as I call it. They do sell. There is a market for those out there. I wouldn't put some really grotesque ones out there, but risque ones. But the topless ones I've seen out there and stuff like that. If you look through, you can see it. Even though eBay says there's no adult thing on there, they're out there, and people do buy them. There is a market. Trained to learn this? He doesn't have a clue. He doesn't check, which is good. They all sell. So maybe he's doing it better than we are. He just puts them up and they sell. So, and then Postcard Guide Kevin, and I've met Kevin for the last 2 years when we go to Florida every year in Siesta Key in Sarasota. It's where Kevin lives, and we met for lunch the last 2 times. The guy has some amazing cards, amazing knowledge of postcards. Been doing it for 30-some years. Has a Facebook group and stuff like that. And this is his channel. He goes through these boxes of these real photo postcards Doesn't have a lot of cards up because he sells the higher end stuff. He's got a full-time job and he still does this. And he makes pretty good money doing it. And so check out Kevin. But he says 95% real photos. Yeah, because he gets some amazing cards. Even though he has other cards, he basically keys in on the real photos. So that's everybody's, breaks it down. Where do you think, what do we get out of this poll? They all sell. It's whatever you really want your niche on. So they do pretty well on there. But there's like 8 to 10 million postcards on eBay at any given time now. It used to be 7 to 9. Now it's moved up. I think the last time people have told me they checked, there's like 10 million listed. It'll level out again. It goes up and down. People slam up a bunch of them and they don't do it anymore. They get burned out or they sell and they go down. So it's whatever you got. Don't think just because it says 1908 or 1905 or 1912 on there, it's the most precious thing in the world. There's billions of those out there. It's about the subject of the card, condition, the storytelling of the card, the history, and stuff like that. I could have a 1908 George Washington Mount Vernon card or a 1908 Niagara Falls card. They're not going to sell that well for that much unless they're very different and unique ones. But if I got one with a real photo from 1905, it's going to be worth more. They're mostly one-of-a-kinds. So it's a whole different way of looking at things sometimes. But I just want to get out there, what are people selling, and the most was divided back. But when 3 said postcard, one word, or post space card, what is correct? The way I've read it over time, because people have asked me that, both are. But the common, what people have went to is postcard, one word, is what's normally used. So there's really no right or wrong, some crossover there. But does it help sell a card? So there's a way you can check this. Just another thing, I'm not for sure if anybody uses this. I don't use it that often, but it's called Google Trends. It's Google Trends. I'll put it right down here. You can compare 2 different things, what the interest over time is, and you can get in more detail on this. I'm just going to give you an overview. So I went out there, and here's the slide. I compared to what's the interest people are Googling, querying the internet for. So I did postcard in blue, and I did post base card. And I compared the 2, and this was over a 12-month period. If you notice, postcard is a little higher, and I had a little peak there for some reason, over the red post space card, 2 words. So that just tells you right there that more people, a little bit more, do postcard, and that's the normal what people have went to. Hope that helps you, 3. But then I took a little farther. I said, what if I put postcard in front of my title, or I put it at the end of the name? Let's just take a look and see if there's really a difference. People are Googling stuff. I don't think this really means that much. I just wanted to show myself, and I said, I'll share this too. So I did postcard space train, and then I did train space postcard, and compared the 2. They're the same. Doesn't matter. They're right on top of each other. If you look on the left there, the bottom left, the red and the blue are basically the same. I said, really? Well, let's take it and do another one. Postcard space Florida or postcard Florida. Or postcard Florida or Florida postcard. I put it in the beginning, put it on the end. Look again, the red and the blue, they're about the same. The blue have a little bit more peaks here and there, but if you look on the bottom left, the bars, they're about the same. Let's do one more. Postcard space New York or New York postcard. They're the same. So it doesn't really matter on Google if you put postcard first or postcard second in the queries. It knows. So Google Trends is a good thing if you want to compare some things, and just another way of looking at things. I don't think it would take you from 5 cards to 50 cards, but if you just find things out there that people are interested in, it really helps, especially when you're YouTube channels. If you want to do videos and you do different things, this is a good way to find out that topic's interested to people. And you can read into this. There's different analytics. You can do it monthly, categories, and you can just keep comparing things and come up with a good title. So Google Trends in there. I hope that helps you, 3, because you put in there a lot on what it is. But postcard is the one that most people use. Post-space card is also, they say, is correct, but postcard is what they did. Thanks for the little thing to do here. Fill up the video 3. And all your comments and all your participation, I appreciate it. So that's the poll. If anybody's got any polls, I got room to fill out there. So if you got a question, you just want to find out, like, what do people sell? Do they look at stamps or whatever? Send it in to contact@SMPostcard.com, and I'll help you build a query on it. If you know what the question is, and give me, 4 or 5 things you want me to put in there. I might reword it a little bit just to make it clearer to me. I'll use some of them, some I don't use. I'll let you know out there. But I like to get other people's questions as well. I got them filled out right now for a while, but I can always slide them in, and I'll let you know when they're there, and if it helps your question. And we got a pretty good community here of new people, middle people, and people who've been doing a long time, so we get a good mix of stuff. Even with 60 to 90 people doing it, it gives us a good idea. Thanks, everyone. Viewer comments are always at the end of the video. I just grab them. Don't be afraid to leave comments. Other people can help. Everybody's probably got the same questions, just didn't know how to put it out there, or it's been out there. Look at the comments in YouTube videos. Look at the description, video descriptions. There's so much stuff in YouTube videos and deals and different things. Or you can send me an email, contact@SMPostcards.com, and I'll treat it a little more privately. If I want to use it in a video, sometimes I'll ask, but if you put it in YouTube with the name shows, it's open season. I consider it public. Everybody can see it. It can be used in a video. But if it's an email, I'll treat it more privately. If I pull a sentence or something, I'll just do it. But if I want to use it, just let me know. Most people do, unless it's more personal about their business. But I try to get back to everyone on the emails. I will always try to do that. I will never not. That's what I do. This is my job on YouTube, is to help. And plus it helps me. Now I got 4 comments here. Go through pretty quick. A couple of them, I just pull whatever out. It's just random. So don't think I'm not taking your comments because you didn't do anything. There's just so many. I just go through and I read them real quick. Oh, that looks interesting. Oh, that's different. Oh, I haven't talked about this. That's all I do. So nothing special. If you want me to read one, send it to me in an email. Copy and paste it, and I'll say, hey, I'd like you to do this on a video and see what other people say. But the first one is from I-95 Estates. What are your thoughts about other documents? I have some Civil War letters. Do you think it would be safe to scan them? Thanks for sharing. Where this discussion went, if I remember right, they got a scanner and they put postcards in, but he also has these lighter paper Civil War documents that could be more fragile than a postcard. And I said, well, I put stuff through my scanner, but I always test it first. I don't do much outside of postcards anymore. There's been a couple times where I put stuff in there and it kind of got jammed up. It was my fault. I shouldn't have put it through there. I should have put it on, just did something else, a picture or something on that. But I told him, I said, if you scan at a lower level, not at 600, bring it down to maybe 300 and test it with something so it doesn't go real fast. You can always stop it and see what it is. But I've never had a scanner tear anything up that I shouldn't have put in there. If I put something there I shouldn't have, like rice paper, I wouldn't put that through a scanner. If I did, I'd do it real careful. But I've never done that, and I probably wouldn't. But just be careful. These documents have a nice, the absents have a nice, not a real 90-degree turn. There is a little turn, but it's made to do that. They're document scanners, not photo scanners, and they'll go through. So I wouldn't be worried about it if you test it, but if you're concerned about it, I wouldn't do it. So they're one-of-a-kind documents, and those Civil War letters could be in there. I think Neil's an archiver. I'm not for sure what Neil does. He might have a flatbed, but from Calamity Photo, he does a lot of the different documents and stuff, and I think he worked in the archival field. So if Neil's out there, maybe he can comment on what he does for those types of documents. But thanks, I-95. Then Lisa Liv asked this question: how many scans do you do at once? A lot. I have 200 cards and 20 empty sleeves with 200 empty sleeves with stickers and with inventory numbers. Do you next sleeve them all at once or list all 200 once you're done to get confusing with the volume listing at once? I have mini boxes like this. These are already scanned. They're in a folder. Folders on my computer. I get the cards in. I'm not a big sorter. I like a mixture. I just scan them through, fill the box up, put them in the folders, and they're there. So when I go to grab a card, the next one in the folder will be this, and when I list it, I delete the photo. I don't save my scans. I put a sticker on. So when I list them, I put them in a sleeve, and I put the sticker on when I list them. I don't do it beforehand and all that stuff. You can do it beforehand, you can do it afterward, but some of the cards, like if I pull this card up, I'll list this card might not be one I list. I don't sort ahead of time, I kind of sort as I go through. I can't touch these cards that often, the other ones, so I scan them. I don't wait, it doesn't get confusing because they're right in order on my computer. I delete them as I list them, is what I do. I probably have 10 to 15,000 cards scanned. So I can just grab a stack of cards out of the box, I know where it is, put it on my desk, and I go to town on listing. So I don't, some people like to sleeve them all, put all the SKU numbers on there, and then list. It's the same amount of work if you look at it, because I do it as I go, the same work they do beforehand. So it's just how you're wired, how you think. Do it beforehand, prep them, and then go faster on the listing. Or it takes a few seconds during the listing of the work that I would have done before on there. You got to have some type of system, some kind of flow. I don't think there's a right or wrong way. It's just how you work. Me, I know I can start this card, I can do 5, and I walk away. I come back a couple hours later or later that evening, I do 10 more. I know right where I stopped. I got the roll of numbers. I print 100, 500 numbers out, and I have a roll sitting here, so I know what number the next one is, and that's the number I put in for the SKU, the custom label. So now, if I look back at the message, how many scans do you do at once? As many as I can. I'll sit and, I'm better, if I'm going to scan, I'll scan. If I'm going to list, I list. You know, if I'm going to do something, I like to do this. You get really good at it if you keep doing the same thing, and then you go on to the next thing. So that's what I do. Like with YouTube videos, I'll go out and I'll do 10 thumbnails. I'll get those out of the way. Then I'll do research on 10 things. Then I'll grab pricing, 10 things. So it's kind of like an assembly line in my head. So how many do you scan at once? How many rooms I got and cards I got to keep me full for a while? Do you next sleeve them? No, I sleeve them as I list them and put numbers on. Does it get too confusing with the volume listing? No, not for me. I have them in a folder and it works. But thanks, Lisa. Then Fossil Forward Finds, formerly Boldly Grow Pickers, Dr. Chris, our dino doctor, said, when I first started on eBay, I tried variation listings. This was from the show and tell when someone sent me a picture of a variation listings. And it's where you have one listing and you can put the cards inside the listing and they can pick and choose what they want. They're called variation listings. Really, it's made for, like, if you got a t-shirt, large t-shirts, and you got 5 different colors. So they go in, they can pick the t-shirt, large, medium, or small, and then what color. That's a variation listing. Some people are trying to put postcards, and they'll put hundreds of postcards in there, and then you just pick one you want. It's really against policy, but it's not really enforced, and it's kind of circumventing fees. But Dr. Chris here said, when I first started on eBay, I tried the variation listings for sport cards. You'll see it in the sports cards too, in the action figure world for weapons and stuff, and little plastic things, swords and stuff. It was a major pain, yeah. I also sold cards much better when I started doing separate listings. 100% won't do it again. So if you're thinking about variation listings, I don't recommend it. It's harder to deal with. You got to dig down into it. If I see a variation listing for something, I just move on. I'm not going to dig through and try to figure out and look for it. And it's just not how I buy on eBay or I sell on eBay. So maybe someone has some success with it, but let me know if you do those. But I'm with Dr. Chris here, Fossil Forward Finds. Won't do it. Thanks, Chris. Then Bit Bofo, funeral home postcards. That's an interesting one. Who would think that funeral homes was a thing? Those are good cards. I don't have a lot of them. I don't see them that often. Once in a great while I'll get one. Maybe I missed it here and there. But they're great cards, and I did a video just lately on funeral homes. It was an interesting one to do with the pricing and stuff that these things demand. it was kind of funny. I did that video. It came out. One of our best friends' father passed away, and we went to a wake or a visitation, and we haven't seen her in a couple of years and seen a lot of the people, so it was nice to see everybody. It was sad to see him, but he lived a good life. He was a educator for all his life and good father. So we went to that and come home, and I saw Biff's message. So you get a little sad, you get excited when you see the cards, and you actually go to one of those. As you get older, you go to a little bit more than you want to on there, and this made me feel comfortable with it, because he said, I'm still waiting to find the card that says we put the fun in funeral. Did you see that? I just see this funeral home with this flashing lights, like a Las Vegas lights. We put the fun in funerals. Yeah, that would be interesting, Biff. But funerals, it's stuff people don't want to talk about. It's just part of life. And as you get older, you see that. And so I appreciate the humor, Biff. It made my night when I saw that. Got me out of my slump, I guess. So, but thanks everybody for the comments, the polls, all the support of the channel. Remember, subscribe is the best thing you can do. It helps out, gets it more visible to people. There's a lot of other channels out there that do postcards as well. Just take what you want, leave what you don't. That's what I tell people. Is some things are for you, some things are not. And just watch what you want, watch who you want, and stuff like that is what YouTube's all about. Thanks for watching. And I got some new fish here. I actually got some shots at an aquarium that I'm going to put up in the next few videos. Bye.